My name is Isaac John. I am privileged to be moderating this session where, His Excellencies, their Excellencies, the ambassadors from several countries are there. I will ask them to introduce themselves. Before that, I will give you a short introduction on the topic and the relevance, the added significance of this topic which we are discussing today. It is about the sustainable practices or principles in gold mining. And it is more relevant at this point of time. Why? Because the climate transition conference is happening, which is UAE is hosting. COP28 is happening. So on the sidelines of COP28, the gold industry best practices and that assumes greater significance. Anyway, the ambassadors here are not industry professionals, so I will not be asking you about the sustainability in gold mining. But one thing I would like to make a prelude, that gold mining and the sustainable principles or responsible mining is very important. Why? Because you should not be aware that on this planet, now the recoverable gold or the gold, the total gold, have you got any idea about that? What is the total quantity of gold which is extracted and not extracted? The total quantity is 244,000 metric tons. Of that, 187,000 metric tons are already extracted. The remaining 57,000 tons are underground. Why I am saying this is to bring to your attention the gravity, the seriousness of the gold industry or gold miners observing the principles, SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, and ESG, Environment, Social and Governance Principles. Because in gold mining, it is very, very crucial to decarbonize the industry. Why? Because gold mining industry accounts for 0.4% of the global emissions. For instance, 1 ounce of gold, that is 28 grams of gold. To extract that or to make that gold, nearly 1 ton of carbon is emitted. So that is the seriousness. To get 1 ounce of gold or to make 1 ounce of gold, the carbon emissions, the greenhouse emissions are nearly 1 ton. So that is why to extract this 57,000 metric tons of gold, how much carbon would be emitted? So that is the importance of observing sustainability, the priority given to the gold mining center, that to use sustainable methods so as or reduce dependence on fossil energy-based extraction methods. Rather go for renewable energy practices. And there are a lot of other practices, responsible gold mining practices and principles are already set. So that is the importance. Anyway, I am not going into the detail. This is the context. To bring it into context, I just give you an introduction. And now I may ask Your Excellency to introduce yourself.
My name is Akawola. I'm the ambassador for the Kingdom of Tonga to the United Arab Emirates and to non-resident ambassadors, some of the GCC states. I need to make a declaration before I continue. The declaration is, we don't have any gold in Tonga, unless someone here decides to come to Tonga and find it. I know nothing about gold other than my wife likes it and it's very expensive. But I would like to thank IBMC for the invitation to this august gathering. In the introductions at the reception just held, I did learn quite a bit about gold and some of the things that are happening. As an ambassador, I have to keep abreast of the geopolitical moves that are occurring, which have occurred very, very quickly in the last 2 years, and the importance of gold, especially with BRICS, and the fact that currencies are wavering and there could be some enormous changes in the near future. I did have a long spiel about investment opportunities in Tonga, but I'm sure that would just bore all the participants here that are interested in gold, hence my immediate declaration. But my contact details are available. There are four main factors that we are looking for investment in. One is tourism, one is agriculture, and with COP28 having recently, well, it's still going on, I understand it's being delayed by another day, and being successfully held by the government of the United Arab Emirates, obviously renewable energy, and the fourth being fisheries. That's a very, very brief portfolio of investment opportunities in the kingdom, but suffice for me to say that I'm sure none of you have heard of or know where the Kingdom of Tonga is. It's in the South Pacific. It's a small, absolutely beautiful archipelago of islands consisting of around 140. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions or for you to visit me in Abu Dhabi to discuss these opportunities.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
I will come back with you with a question later on. But now, next, Your Excellency, please introduce yourself.
Good evening.
Ambassador of Vietnam.
Hello. Can you hear me? Yes. All right. Good evening. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tuan, the Ambassador of Socialist Republic of Vietnam in the UAE. Today, I thank you, IBMC, for the invitation for me just to take part in this event. And I also like, my colleague here, Vietnam is, for the gold production, is just a small quantity, a few hundred kilograms per year. So I think that as compared with other countries, I think that this is quite small. However, my home country is, the economy has been developing quite fast and has been known increasingly for around the world for its products, for its name as a manufacturer for the world market. So we export a lot in all areas and all kind of products. So we warmly welcome, just have the business community here just to seek and have seek our business opportunities and doing business with my home country. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, Your Excellency, please introduce yourself.
Good evening, Excellencies, distinguished guests, friends. I'm Udaya Indratna, the Sri Lankan ambassador to United Arab Emirates. First of all, IBMC, I immensely thank them for inviting me for this discussion. As the gentleman mentioned, my country is not a gold producer, but we are a very big consumer of gold. Our lifestyle of Sri Lanka is very much dependent on collecting and investing in gold. All our weddings and so on. For example, every mother, father, they kind of collect gold for their daughters and so on. So gold is very much integrated part of our life. So as the gentleman says that 57,000 tons of gold left underneath, and that requires so much of carbon emissions, that looks very scary. So obviously, we just went through COP28. We had a very successful participation in COP28. Be Sri Lanka a small country, we made a huge impact supporting our brothers UAE, standing with 3 major game-changing initiatives that include postgraduate institute in Sri Lanka on a 400-acre complex to educate the whole world in terms of teaching how do you manage climate challenges. So is the tropical belt. So we came with 3 game-changing initiatives that were so much accepted in the world. Our President, His Excellency Ranil Wickremesinghe, is an intellectual and very much of a very knowledgeable leader in climate challenges and so on. That was for our advantage. So we made a very huge impact at COP28 in UAE. Well, although we don't mine gold, but we are one of the largest supplier of gemstones and color stones to this world. So it's a very scary situation where almost everybody is trying to find gems by damaging the land, and it's not in a sustainable manner. So I think one of the outcome of this our COP28 wake-up call is how do you do sustainable mining in terms of colored gems? We are the world's number one blue sapphire producer in the world. There's no second country when it comes to blue sapphires in this world, and that's Sri Lanka. So we need to, we have strategies in now how we make this, the mining more sustainable way, because we want Sri Lanka to support 100% that COP28 promises that the world has came up with. So we are very much strategizing how to support this endeavor. And in terms of as Sri Lanka, we have huge opportunity for all of you. IBMC is very close to my heart. I go to almost all the events in Abu Dhabi, so on. One is the tourism opportunity in Sri Lanka is, I think, very important for all of you to know. It's the lowest hanging fruit for Sri Lanka at the moment. It's only had 2 million visitors, the maximum in 2018, but is, in my opinion, 20 million tourism destinations. So if you want to invest in Sri Lanka, tourism is for sure one of the best you should think about. Second is the state-owned enterprises, that about 80 state-owned enterprises. As you know, Sri Lanka had challenges that IMF came up with some rules to privatize a lot of state-owned enterprises. So we are considering 80 of them to privatize. So there's a huge opportunity as well. Then we have one of the top IT people in the world. And so that's the other opportunity for you to IT on information technology-based businesses. I'm always saying, even I had a interview last week, Sri Lankans are one of the most talented people in the world. And although I may be biased, but our skill is really very, very high standard. So you should also think about our people, to hire our people whenever you have a chance. So I'm here to make a major game changer to my country, to bring the right investment to Sri Lanka and create top jobs. And also Sri Lanka has lots of product to offer. So my offer to my UAE counterparts and everyone, have a look at the range of product that Sri Lanka has, but they don't do much of value addition, so UAE is so good at it. So you could think about those opportunities and bring all the raw material from Sri Lanka here and could create a export hub.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for giving such a detailed picture of Sri Lanka's economy and its relevance for the UAE. And very, very grateful for giving such a detailed thing. And now, Your Excellency Akola from Kingdom of Tonga. See, I am very curious to know, like all the audience, because it is very rarely we have visitors or a citizen from Tonga, because UAE is a melting pot of diverse cultures, over more than 200 nationalities. Your Excellency, from the tourism board is here. How many nationalities are living here in Dubai alone? 210 nationalities. But I am first time meeting a citizen of Tonga. So how is it? How are you placed? And how is your relationship and trade relation and economic relations with UAE? And how do you think that in future you can further expand it?
Yes, it's not surprising that I may be the first Tongan that you've met, because there's only 107,000 of us in the kingdom. Insofar as our relationship with the United Arab Emirates, it's very strong. We've had diplomatic relations with them now for 14, 15 years. It was the hosting of Dubai of Expo 2020 that led His Majesty to look at this part of the world, this region of the world, the Middle East. And so far, well, having set the embassy up in September 2019, and unfortunately COVID then coming around, our relationship has grown from strength to strength. It's slow in the sense that it's difficult. We're only a 2-diplomat embassy, but we've had opportunities, albeit sometimes not relevant to the actual meeting, like today, which is focused on gold, to put Tonga on the map with some of the businesses here. But I think the biggest selling point Tonga has at the moment is that it lacks infrastructure. Now, that may sound strange, but it is, so to speak, a clean slate. It's a clean slate for a conglomerate, a mega investor, to look long-term, to look at to take lessons learned from other parts of the world, and to build a really unique place.
At present, how many of UAE businesses are there, or any of investors from UAE have been there?
Well, during COP28, we had His Majesty the King and our Prime Minister and a number of ministers attend, and a number of agreements were signed, but I think the biggest one is the Protection of Investment Agreement with the UAE government. So we're hoping that it accelerates and now gives confidence to businesses in the UAE to come and do business.
How is your trade relations with the UAE? What are your main exports to UAE, or your imports from UAE?
Well, we haven't started any imports or exports other than people at the moment. And of course, because there's a very small amount, there's only been a few of us. But we do have roughly around 20 Tongans, all involved in aviation, either flying or as cabin crew with Etihad or Emirates Airlines. So we do have some exports, if you say, but they're in human resources.
Okay. What are the main sectors where you would be inviting investors to the country? Which are the sectors most?
Well, I think the most unique and most opportune sector is tourism. I mean, the sheer fact that no one knows where Tonga is leaves it as one of the last destinations on this very small planet to say, well, you go to the Maldives, you go to Sri Lanka, you go to Vietnam. Excellencies, I hope you don't mind me using you as examples. But you can't say to your children or to your co-workers, I was in Tonga last week, or I spent Christmas or New Year's in the Kingdom of Tonga. So it's unique.
Is it the visa process is very easy, or how is the visa process?
Yes, we have visa waiver programs with basically nearly the whole world, including the UAE. So as long as you have a return ticket, you can enter the kingdom for 30 days without the requirement.
Air connectivity, how about the air connectivity? A lot of flights are there, or?
As far as air connectivity, we rely on Emirates because Tonga is geographic location is about 2 hours flight time from Auckland, New Zealand. So the direct flight from Dubai to Auckland, which is daily, and I suspect that's going to increase as Emirates.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency. Now we have the Vietnam Ambassador Tuan. Vietnam has now become the focus of, or the sought-after destination for tourists, especially from the UAE as well as from Indian subcontinent. There are a lot of people. There is a big increasing tourist traffic to Vietnam because it is such an exotic place and historic place also. And Ambassador, how is your current scenario? What is the scenario? How is your relationship with the UAE? And which are the sectors where you see room for further growth or potential for further growth with the UAE?
Hello. Thank you. Of course, everyone here may be may say that Vietnam is well known, increasingly well known for the tourist destination, but that is just only part. I say that just one sector in our bilateral economic cooperations, the UAE and Vietnam. Speaking frankly, the UAE-Vietnam relationships has been fine development. Politically, we have high-ranking delegations exchange every year, and everything is quite okay in just in own, own international political forums such as the UN and other multilateral organizations, and just for political consultations. However, the main focus of our relationship here is the economic cooperation. It covers all areas from the infrastructure, energy and renewable energy, logistics, agriculture, industrial production, as well as tourism and labor. So I mean that, just very large areas for cooperation. Vietnam is number one partner of UAE in Southeast Asia, while the UAE is number one Vietnamese partner in the GCC. So in that way, we, industry have a very strong background of strong political and economic background for cooperation, particularly the CEPA between the two countries will be signed soon. So in that way, I think that will boost the trade ties, the economic ties between the two countries up very sharply.
When do you think the CEPA, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, that is called CEPA, when are you going to sign it with UAE?
Put it this way, both sides have completed the talks on the CEPA. So that it takes short time for just the internal reviews before the signing.
CEPA is a very strategic initiative by UAE, because UAE is planning to sign CEPAs with 27 countries in the world. The first one started with India. Then later on, there are a lot of other countries. Now I am very happy to know that Vietnam is the next one. And what is the trade volume, bilateral trade value?
The trade volume between Vietnam and the UAE last year, according to the UAE statistics, just excluding oil and gas, is around, is around 8.3 billion US dollars.
So that is a substantial amount. The India, it is now 60 billion, and which we are expecting it to hit 100 billion soon after the signing of CEPA. So that is a significant thing, considering the fact that Vietnam is it's making headway, making serious progress with its relationship with the UAE, and very happy to know about that. And so thank you. And Ambassador of Sri Lanka, he has been giving us detailed features of Sri Lanka's attraction as a prime tourist destinations. A lot of tourists are going to the island nowadays. After now it is the environment is very peaceful, and now everything is there, and Sri Lanka has overcome a lot of economic challenges and political challenges as well. And so what is the scenario now? How are you? What is the tourist traffic, you received last year, and what is your expectations over the coming years from the UAE?
Thank you so much. We had the peak of Sri Lankan tourism is 2.3 million visitors. I'm pleased to say this year we reached 1.5 million. So we are on we are definitely increasing the traffic. In terms of traffic between UAE and Sri Lanka, I'm pleased to say that we have increased aircraft traffic. Only last week we started Air Arabia flight from Abu Dhabi direct to Sri Lanka. So a lot of airlines have shown interest. But our airport is quite small, so can't handle that much traffic. But we are working on that as well. So I feel that for the UAE expatriates and UAE nationals and so much other people, the Sri Lanka is a very attractive place to visit. So we are looking forward to welcome all of you in Sri Lanka.
Is there any SEPA, you are planning sort of agreement with UAE?
Yes, exactly. We had a meeting, our foreign minister and His Highness, the foreign minister of UAE last week. We discussed the SEPA. We are also one of the countries that discussing the SEPA agreement between two countries. So, as the Excellency mentioned about Vietnam, we are also one of the countries that under SEPA process. So,
Ambassador, since you mentioned about mining of stones, precious stones, let me ask a relevant question because it is more relevant to this thing, Of course, Sri Lanka is not known for its gold mining thing, but in mining, what more need to be done to make it more sustainable, more environment friendly, and to decarbonize it? Because, carbon is the emission of greenhouse gases is the biggest challenge all the mining industry across the world is facing. And now people, countries, institutions, under United Nations guidance are increasingly aware of the dangers lurking in the horizon. Because if it is going like that and if we cannot meet the net zero target by 2050, the whole planet, the whole humanity is endangered. So what are these your standards, your principles of mining?
Quite simple answer. We are very much focusing about the education. Because what happens is most of the mining people who are doing, they may not understand the climate or sustainable issues that may face as a result. So, as I just mentioned, Sri Lanka is opening up the first ever postgraduate education on climate challenges. So, with that in mind, we want to educate the entire public of this damages that can cause such a devastating effect in the world. So we are very aware. That's one. Number two is, of course, regulations that mining should be more sustainable with UN sustainable goals in mind for us to do that. So we are very much in that endeavor. So I think Sri Lanka is very much in control. Thank you.
Since you are a participant of COP28, what is your expectations from COP28? And how far we have progressed, or the discussions there have culminated in what sort of agreement, what sort of consensus?
Yeah, I was totally with our Excellency the President of Sri Lanka. First of all, let me congratulate UAE for this magnificent, very determined COP28, best ever, with very much result driven. So I think COP28 is the beginning of a very big journey. So we as Sri Lanka came up with game-changing plans to full support our brothers UAE, as well as understanding the gravity of the challenge we're facing. So well done UAE, an amazing job, I think best ever COP. We all hope everybody will unite action as per the COP theme. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellencies. If you have anything more to add, Ambassador of Toga or Ambassador of Vietnam, if you want to add something more or anything to say, just this is the time, make it, because we are running out of time, so make it brief.
Well, I just want to echo His Excellency's comments about COP28. The Kingdom of Tonga and, dare I say, SIDS, the Small Island Developing States, expectations from COP28 was met on the first day. With the loss and damage that has taken 17 years to get into the text of COP, which finally got into the text in COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. Our expectations that only the UAE could pull it off, could mobilize it, could fund it, could get participation from other developed countries to put money into it. And it was a shock, I think, to not only the SIDS, but to the whole world, that His Excellency Dr. Sultan slammed the Gemel down on the first day. And that was our expectations, and it was met on the first day. So, irrespective of what media say or
Thank you
what
for
is
the
said.
compliments. UAE is leading by example, not just by words. It is showing the way. Thank you, Your Excellency.
And it's definitely
Definitely.
the best COP ever hosted by
Give
a
it a
state.
big round of applause to his statement because. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Ambassador, Vietnam, you want to say something more? Because we are. Yeah.
First of all, I have to say that we have to express our sincere thanks to the great contributions for the host country to organize the COPs 28. That's the very ever biggest COPs up to now. And we also have achieved very spectacular results, although it may not be satisfied all participants of the COPs. For Vietnam, from COP 26, we declared that by 2050, we will achieve net zero carbon. So from that time up to now, we have worked out the comprehensive program and put the programs into detailed implementation and focus. The plot the pilot program is focused on the coal, steel, and cement, which are ever biggest in my home
So
countries.
you are on track to meet net zero by target by
2050.
2050.
Yeah.
2050. Okay.
So in that way.
How about it in Sri Lanka? What is your?
Exactly the same target we have, but perhaps we want to go ahead of the target
Really?
because
Okay.
we are a small country, island nation. It's much more controllable. So we are thinking about renewable energy, almost 95% very soon. So much offering as well. So we'll be definitely delivering the COP promise. And once again, UAE, they set an example. What a wonderful leadership and what a wonderful, responsible action to take to the world, to save the world. Thank you, UAE, once again.
Thank you. Thank you. Give them a big round of applause, please. The ambassadors, 3 ambassadors. We have the honor and privilege to hear from you. Thank you very much.